So, do you know how much your divorce is really going to cost? If you look online, I'm sure you're going to find all kinds of information. But if a divorce looks inevitable, here's what you're going to need to know. Hi, my name is Kristen Wolf. I am a wife, a mom to 3 boys, a diehard Patriots fan, a Yukon fan, and a family law attorney here in Connecticut. Here at Wolf & Shore Law Group, we help people get the results they want and move on with their lives. If you are contemplating a divorce or any action in family law here in the state of Connecticut, please visit our website and set up a consultation to meet with us. It's essential that you get the right advice and help. And besides, have you ever argued with a woman before? We create free videos here for people who live in Connecticut. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos. On this week's video, we are going to discuss exactly how much your divorce is going to cost you. So straight up, the real answer is it's impossible for any attorney to sit here and tell you exactly what your divorce is going to cost you. The cost of a divorce depends on a lot of different circumstances and factors. We can tell you a general range that your divorce will come in, and that's why we usually charge people a retainer. Most family law attorneys do. That way, they can collect the money up front and pay out bills and expenses as necessary. This way, you only pay for the exact amount of work done, and we only get paid for the actual amount of work that we do. Aside from that, the type of divorce you are seeking matters. First thing you have to consider is, are there kids involved? If not, then you could be looking at what we call a limited contested divorce. If you were to boil divorce down into 2 very, very broad subjects, you would be able to tell that divorce has 2 things that you have to take care of. 1 is custody, and 2 is finances. If you only have finances, then your matter is going to be considered limited contested and usually has less issues for us as attorneys to have to navigate. If you have children, then your matter is automatically going to be considered fully contested because you will have both custody and financial issues, and will likely involve much more time and negotiation on your file. Another thing to take into consideration is, are you going to be going to court and litigating your matter, or are you going to be mediating or using a collaborative divorce? All of these things need to be considered when determining the total cost of your divorce. So, is it going to cost you $100? No, definitely not. Is it going to cost you $10,000? Well, I don't know. The answer is maybe. If you go to trial, it'll probably cost you even more than that. If you and your spouse are amicable, well, then it may not cost as much because you won't be driving your attorneys to go to court or negotiating all the time. However, if you're both at each other's throat and constantly arguing over every single thing and communicating that with your attorney, well, then it's probably going to cost you a bit of money. So the first thing you need to decide when you are trying to figure out how much your divorce is going to cost is figuring out which mechanism you're going to use to get divorced. Will you use mediation, collaborative divorce, or litigation? Each comes with a different price tag. If you want to learn more about mediation, collaborative divorce, and litigation and the differences between them, make sure to check out our other video where we do a deep dive about the differences between the 3. So obviously, the more work that your divorce requires, the more it's going to cost you. Mediation is usually done in about 4 months or less. Collaborative divorce is typically the same time frame, but it can take longer depending on the circumstances. Litigation is usually done in somewhere between 4 months to a year. That said, the time frame in which you complete the divorce is only one factor. Sometimes your divorce could be work heavy in the first 4 months, and other times it could be spread out over a period of time. So it really depends on how much work is needed on your file and when. The actual cost of your divorce is going to depend on how long it takes and how many hours it takes for your attorney to get you your end result. The more reasonable you and your spouse are in the beginning and throughout the matter, it is likely that you will end up spending less money throughout your divorce. So your case is going to be dependent upon you and how much work it entails. We always give a quote at the end of a consultation, and you will walk away from that consultation knowing exactly what the initial retainer will be. Now, not all costs associated with your divorce are monetary. For starters, think of the impact that a divorce is going to have on your kids. They have gone from having one household with two parents to now having two households with one parent in each house. And it's going to depend on you and your ex-spouse to work together amicably, even though you're getting a divorce, to make sure that it has the least impact on your children. Another thing you need to consider is your financial assets. Again, you are going from one income and one set of assets for one family and dividing that into two. If you don't have a prenup, you're likely going to have to give up some of your assets through divorce. That said, a good attorney is going to advise you how that divide should be and what the division of assets looks like. Also, you have to consider the impact of a divorce on your mental well-being. This one is not always thought of, and it has probably and arguably one of the biggest impacts. Divorce can be stressful, and having an attorney that you can establish a good rapport with will help you to find yourself in a better place mentally throughout the divorce process. And lastly, your career. Some people think that they have to put their lives on hold for a divorce, but that's usually not true. The right lawyer is going to help you move forward in your life so you can feel even better once your divorce is finalized. So, in the last 14 years, I can tell you quite honestly that we at Wolf & Shore have seen all different kinds of divorces. The most expensive divorce I have ever seen involved us going to court all the time. And when we weren't in court, we were talking to our client, we were talking to the other attorney, and we were talking to the guardian ad litem. It was very expensive for both parties. And at the end, we ended up at trial. The least expensive divorce I've ever been a part of was a couple that had walked in to my office, had already negotiated the majority of what they wanted in the divorce, and they just needed our help to mediate a couple of outstanding issues and help them draft up a final agreement. Every case is different. So, what do you think? Leave a comment below, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We make videos just like this, informing the public of how to get a divorce or survive a family law matter here in Connecticut. Look, we understand going through a divorce or a family law matter is super emotional for you, but it's not for us. We know what it takes and we give it to you straight. We have a successful track record with hundreds of clients over the last 14 years. And besides, have you ever argued with a woman? If you have any questions regarding a family law matter here in the state of Connecticut, schedule a call with our team and set up a consultation. I'm Kristen Wolf with Wolf & Shore Law Group, and we look forward to helping you.